Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lifting. This episode is being recorded on 12/8/24. We are here with Aida Farhat today with her company. She's the founder and holistic practitioner of Soulful, Synergy, Detox, and Wellness. So we're here with her today to talk about her business and this is pretty much integrating her passion in life. So before we go into any of this, I will open this circle to true benevolence and with no conflicting agendas of this moment in time. So Joanna, law of one.
We are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, that only the highest good be done. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, to let healing energies in. Let them love you and nourish you and bring you to your highest good. We ask for benevolence to come in now with no conflicting agenda, to come in and to support this conversation so that it may be had in peace and in comfort, and hopefully for the listeners also as well, to be able to listen to it and pull from it what will serve them, and then to be able to listen in peace and grace. And as always, we send healing energies your way, and with that we say, so be it.
So be
So
it.
be it. Thank you. Thank you. That was lovely.
Yeah, we can give a brief intro on your company, and then we'll get it going here.
So just I'm going to read a little bit something about Aida. Aida Farhat, again, is a holistic practitioner and founder of Soulful, Synergy, Detox, and Wellness. Aida's journey into holistic healing was catalyzed by a profound spiritual awakening and a challenging life experience. After a full-blown Kundalini activation, she endured severe targeting, leading to a decision to take a flu shot in 2013 that severely impacted her neurological system. This trauma was followed by a diagnosis of Hashimoto's thyroid disorder, which became a turning point in her life. Determined to reclaim her health and help others to do the same, Aida delved into holistic practices. She began with ionic detoxes, liquid zeolite supplementation, and adopting healthier eating habits, which laid the foundation for her recovery. This transformative journey inspired her to create Soulful, Synergy, Detox, and Wellness, a sanctuary where ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge technology for a balanced approach to health and wellness. As a PEMF Tetrahertz certified practitioner and 0 Point Energy DEEMS device practitioner, Aida specialized in facilitating healing, energetic clearings, pain relief, and emotional balance. She uses these innovative tools to support her clients' physical, emotional, and energetic well-being. Her mission extends beyond humans. She is currently pursuing certification in PEMF therapy for animals to further expand her practice. Guided by her personal experiences and deep spiritual insights, Aida combines ancient healing modalities with modern advancements to empower her clients on their path to wellness. And again, we've known Aida for many, many years. And Aida also, we've talked about, you've seen us talk about the disclosure conferences that are had. And Aida's been a really person very involved in trying to help these conferences come into being, and has been of such great support to us also personally. So we're a bit biased because we've known her a long time, and because we sincerely believe in the things that she herself is trying to do to expand her own personality, her own spiritual self, her own knowledge, and her ability to look into things. And again, new technologies and different things that also can aid in healing. So with that, we welcome you, Aida. We're just very excited and always thrilled, because we don't get to talk a whole lot all the time, but we do try to talk every now and then and support each other in our endeavors. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much, Joanna. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think some of the interesting things, again, with people in their personal journeys, we always look towards, the pulling into the ancient wisdoms that can play a part of now. But I find it interesting because, again, you like to combine new technology, new understandings, as well as. So why don't you talk a little bit about some of the methods that you use?
Okay, fantastic. So, let me just give a little background first. So, initially, as you read in the bio, I had taken a flu shot and it disrupted my neurological system pretty bad. And after doing a lot of sitting still, going through the process of anger, frustration, feeling like everything was being done to me, I'm now at a place in my life where I realize that I agreed to it all for whatever reason. At a soul level, I agreed to it and I take full responsibility for that. And I think that's important to say that because it really felt like I couldn't make sense that I said no to a flu shot 1,000 times, knew I shouldn't have it, and then turned around and took it one day out of nowhere, just said yes. And the lady that gave me the shot looked like, a devil with a human face. I hate to say that, but, and I, was in apathy and sat there and didn't move. So for whatever reason, I chose that. I'd like to believe that it was so that I could experience what takes place when we put these toxins in our body and then to go through the healing process, the emotional process, into taking full responsibility of that and moving into healing modalities such as PMF, ionic detox, using things like liquid zeolite, which I know for a fact works because I was told, and I'm pretty frank here, so I'll just share it. During my being used in projects and programs, part of that was drugs and alcohol abuse, and I ended up with Hep C. And I was told that I was exposed to it, but that it wasn't active in my body. I moved from Maryland to Florida to get away from all of the stuff that I was deciding to change and turn my life around. And in order for me to do that the way I felt was what was best for myself was to move from Maryland and move to Florida. And it did help tremendously. I mean, my life is completely different. It's like when I look back at the person I used to be, it's like who was that? And, it's like, I don't even, but I hold compassion and love for her, that aspect of me that is no longer, you know, a thing, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but anyways, so I moved to Florida. And one day I was walking home from the grocery store, and every time I was walking fine. This is before I bought a car when I first moved here, probably in 2018, probably 6, 7 months into living here. And every time I would lift my legs, it felt like I had tree trunks on my legs. Like I couldn't lift my legs just out of nowhere. And I was thinking to myself, what the heck is this? First, how am I going to get to my house? Because I still had probably about 500, 600 feet to walk to get to my apartment. And long story short, I just kept pushing and I was able to get to my house because I was thinking I might have to pull somebody over coming into the development. And went to the Mayo Clinic, had told my sister and sister-in-law about what I was experiencing. Of course, I went and had blood work, found out this Hep C went active in my body. So my family was seriously concerned considering my history of drug and alcohol abuse. And there was something in me that did not worry. Like I just was not going to get myself all worked up. I wanted to know what were the holistic things that I could do to help myself. And when I mentioned this to the doctor at the Mayo Clinic, she told me to stay away from all that stuff, that it was, could create more problems and so forth and so on. And that they had to test me to see if I was a candidate for Harvoni. I had looked up this medication and I found out that had gotten rid of Hep C. And so many people have had Hep C and unfortunately a lot of them have lost their lives not getting the help they needed. Anyways, so um, I didn't listen, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dr. Sam Usey from many years ago. She used to have a no, okay. Well, I found out about this liquid zeolite and decided to order it. And when I ordered it, within 3 days, I felt like a brand new person. Not only that, 3 months later, when I went back after having my blood work to see if I was a match for Harboni, the doctor said to me, "Your viral loads have dropped tremendously." Well, my sister-in-law was sitting there with me, and she says to her, "Why didn't you tell her that before you prescribed her the medication?" The doctor looked at her and said, "You're not the patient, she is. Why are you asking questions?" So, which was kind of like aha to me, because I've been telling my family, like, these guys, listen, I'm not a doctor. I can't give medical advice. I want to be clear about that. I'm not here to tell you, the decisions that people should be making for themselves. I can only encourage you and tell you what I've done that I know that works. And I don't promote or recommend anything or anybody that I don't know and I know is the real deal and it's a real effective um, modality or whatever, like different. So anyways, the liquid zeolite really did make a big difference for me. And then I found out about the ionic detox machine, which I now use and have created a business around, that pulls heavy metal, or let me say that again. It doesn't pull, it attracts, it sends an electrical frequency to the body, to the organs, and causes it to vibrate. So it releases heavy metals and toxins. So whether, and I like to be clear about this too, because some people think, it's some, I don't know, the Mayo Clinic recommends them to their cancer patients. Some of the doctors will recommend. And I know people that have done 10 ionic detoxes after having surgery, having cancer removed from her breast, and did 10 ionic detoxes, chose that over chemo, and has been cancer free, healthy, and doing well and healed up quickly from using it. So I know it works and it's done wonders for me. But whether your feet are in the water or not, the water will change colors. Why? Because it's ionizing the water as well as creating ions to help promote the release of heavy metals and toxins in the body. Very calming. Usually people after 2 or 3 sessions will tell me how their carb and sugar cravings have reduced significantly. Some people just give them up. And then I don't know I mean, I could keep going on, but I'll be quiet for a minute if you guys have any questions, because there is more and I will share. Yeah.
That's interesting because I've seen energetically where a lot of times, there's a lot of toxin build up in the legs. And it's as simple as like, seems like gravity is just pulling them towards the legs and the feet. And I've had this issue for years where I've also seen on the bottom of people's feet energetically, there seems to be like this almost looks like a nicotine patch, like energetic form that's covering the energy center on the bottom of the feet. And I usually rip those off when I see them. I'll just rip them off like somebody's pulling duct tape or a Band-Aid off or something, and all that energy dispels and they ground to the earth again. It was just for the simple purpose of not allowing people to ground. It seems that the ionic detox, from what it looks like to me, is it's basically allowing people to ground again because it's pulling those toxins out in the same fashion as I rip those things off of people. It seems to be the exact same things. It exists on the same frequency wavelength. So it's that's kind of what I feel from that. The Joanna, did you have a question?
That's fascinating, Chris. I know that you're powerful. Of course, I've been a client of yours and a friend for many years. I mean, I'm thinking 2014, 15. I've known you for some time.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely helped me, and I like to make sure that I say that and let people know that I've been a client of Chris's for many years, and I've had several readings with him, and he has helped me tremendously. And I always want to remind you that I hold you in high esteem and appreciate you both very much. Um, I hope you know that. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, this seems like I said, seems to be the same energetic process, but with technology, because I've seen in multiple mediums where somebody will find a technological means to an energetic problem as well, and it seems to be doing pretty much the same process. But yours is more practical because then people can just use the device. They'll use a lot
I
more
mean,
practical.
it's changed people's lives. I mean, there's more to it. Once So I'll just move into quickly the pulse electric magnetic field therapy and terahertz, which I had printed because I understand it, but sometimes I get tongue tied trying to explain what that means for those that aren't aware of what it means. And I can share some of that information with you, but just quickly, I came across, so there's somebody on Facebook that I'm friends with that had posted about this machine he was using that was changing his life. And he felt, you know, completely opened up and expanded. And I was curious because I was thinking I want to add some more services to my business, and I want to, you know, help myself, of course. And this is big. So about 5 or 6 months, I studied, you know, I researched this technology and I wanted to know more about it. And I am part of this group where I can read testimonies. I mean, testimonies after testimonies of mind blowing transformations that are taking place in people's lives by using this machine. And that's the truth. I live on a humble income. It's not like I have $1,500 just to hand, you know, but I got it. Well, 14. I got it because I believe Greg. I've followed him. I believe he's a man of integrity, and I trust, you know, his recommendations. So I got the machine, and I will tell you, Chris, I started in March, and I lost a lot of hair from Hashimoto's from getting this. My hair is so thick now. Even when I was getting my hair done, I saw all this bush of hair. Like I thought it was breakage. And my hairdresser said, Ida, I was like, what is that, Amanda? Because I was about to say, stop. I'm not doing no highlights, nothing. Just trim it. I'm going out the door. And she walked away, went to go back to the back of the salon and said, oh, that's new hair growth, Ida. And walked away. And I sat there and thought for a minute because, you know, that's another thing the PMF has helped me regulate my nervous system and not react all the time and just stop for a minute. But yeah. So I remembered somebody in the group saying how she noticed her hair was growing back. And I realized that's what it is. It's the machine that I'm using that's causing my hair to not only I have clients that are telling me that their hair is getting thicker and you know their skin's clearing up. I've had so many people say to me, "How do you look like 10 years younger?" And I'm like, thank you. And I know it has to do with releasing or relieving the stress. I was super stressed out, you know, just had a lot going on and really trying to come to terms with like finally radical acceptance and just moving away from all the things that I experienced during my targeting and all of that to say, okay, I own it and I can't change it, but what I can do is make better choices today and also not sit in it and allow it to consume me where I'm not being productive or creative in any way. Right. And it's changed my life.
Yeah, the brain fog it also gets in, seeps in as well. Also, the hair growth, I've noticed this as well because along with like the energies, like the 5G energies, you know, from like the pandemic, all this other stuff that took place, where it had to do with a particular frequency. If you find that opposite polarity, you begin to reverse it immediately. And using tech and business like yourself, I think that's a great thing because you're actually promoting that opposite polarity that's actually beginning to detox and heal a lot of these things that have happened, especially over the past 4 years. So, Joanna, do you have any questions?
No, I think it's a really important concept. Again, this is kind of the unseen. This is kind of one of those things where, again, where we talk about everything is frequency. Everything is frequency. And so, and we've also spoken about how we're covered in mud, basically, and constantly covered in mud that we're trying to get off of us. It's the same concept, of course, but a little bit more specific, talking about the detox type of processes and what is out there and what is being discovered, especially in a frequency way, which is that, movement that is breaking up things that allowing for it to now leave the body. Same theory that's in process with lithotripsy when you're trying to break up a stone that's gotten into your body. It's frequency, it's sound waves that are pushed through a person's body to break up a stone. So it's kind of, again, this is not new thought. This is just now another application of theories that actually are shown to work within the body. So again, it's more and more things people again are learning and developing and realizing that sound frequencies, things like that can all be applied in a way that's a very healing, and it affects more than what you think. It's an overall effect, not just a singular, one stop effect like a lithotripsy, a singular one stop. But now how do you apply it to give the overall generalized healing? And so now people are coming across, and kind of you're exploring it with your clients to, that are saying these are the effects I'm happening. And I think this area, the whole area, is going to grow, obviously, because it becomes a practical alternative to healing versus just a surface treatment like a pharmaceutical or something would do.
Sure.
Actually, you're trying to get to the root of the problem and get the body to heal itself completely. So these modalities are wonderful. They're wonderful explorations. They're, and let people, try them, and then they will come up and realize themselves, is it going to be useful for them or not? But more often than not, these modalities are being shown of being great use to people and helping them actually heal a problem, not just paint over it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate everything that you just said, and I would agree with that. And I was trying to stay away from the word heal because I know that that can be an issue on YouTube. But I will tell you that since I've been doing ionic detox, using the liquid zeolite, and doing the PMF, P90 pulse electric magnetic field and terahertz, it's the only machine on the market. It's patent that has both terahertz and PMF, which complement one another well. And sorry, my backside showed. I've gained a little bit of weight over the holidays here.
Well,
This
so
is not a PMF machine, the P90 machine. Tell you a quick story. So ever since I start using it, my hair started growing back. I had so much energy. I mean, there was a time where I literally would have like 3 or 4 hours and I need to lay down. Like people would invite me to things and I would say no, because I just knew that by the time I got there, within an hour, I was going to be so lethargic that I would not be enjoying myself or being very enjoyable to be around. So I would just say no. And I start using this with the ionic detox. And I will tell you, I went to have blood work done 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I don't know, 4 months ago. I think it was before the conference. Found out that my thyroid is normal for the first time in over 10 years since I took the flu shot. So it's more than 10, almost 15 years, 2013. Yeah.
oh,
And that's huge. Now, I don't take any hormone. I take something that's called thyroxine, which is um, uh, all natural alternative product, holistic product, sorry. Uh, and one thing this machine does is enhance what you're taking. It allows the body to absorb it much quicker and more to help it be more effective. And I know that that's a true statement. So doing that, and then I decided to buy these little guys. Okay, it's called a G1 Galaxy G1, and it doesn't have terahertz in this. It's PMF, and it has padding in the inside, as you see, which heats up around the eyes, and then it goes poof, poof. When it's on, I mean, it's a little, it says full function massage. I don't know if you can hear that.
a little. Yeah, I hear a little bit.
It does that, and then it does this, poof, and it's sending PMF frequencies to your pineal gland, your octave nerves, into the spinal cord. When I first got it, I was like, I don't know if I like these things because it massages and squeezes you and heats up around the eyes. It took a little getting used to. Now I swear by it. I start noticing in between sleep that I'm seeing more things. Like when I'm going into a lot of swirling of colors, I try to pierce through to see the other side. My mind, I'm not so, going like this back and forth with the battle in the mind or the monkey mind.
Mm.
I've actually has calmed down quite a bit. And yeah, I love it. So these are 15 minutes. I usually will have people do ionic detox, go on the P90 and wear this for 15 minutes of their session. And I can tell you, you can go on my website. I've only got a few testimonies on there. I've got tons of testimonies, but I pay somebody, a webmaster to do, that created my website. So I have to have her add more, but that was just to get it, going. And yeah, people love this technology. So with the technology, I do practice. I do another thing that you guys, I think, are familiar with this. It's called a Deems device. And this Deems device, Chris O'Connor, shout out to Chris O'Connor, you can look him up. He got a download or information from the Galactics and created this. This is dipped in gold and it has 8 carats of diamond shards inside, uses a conductor for the magnet, and it creates 0 point energy. So when people talk about Reiki and doing Reiki through their hands and sending energy and being a conduit for source energy, I don't have to do that. This does it for me. I can, so I usually will go over, like start at people's feet and pump them with energy, go over their chakras, and then the silver side pulls out. So if people have a lot of inflammation, pain, or they feel stuck, like their chakras aren't spinning properly, this thing is magical. It's powerful, and it's changed. I mean, I love it. I just hold it, and I can feel the tingling.
Yeah, I can feel that from here, where when you face the eye hole section of it towards me, I can actually feel that on my face. So yeah.
I'm sure you can. It's powerful, Chris, and this thing is amazing. And I'm so grateful for it. I've helped a lot of people with this. So yeah, I mean, and then I have, pencil rings and pyramids I can put down and put my hand over, set intentions, put little notes inside it, asking for healing for myself, or if somebody asks, request that I help them with something, I can write down whatever it is and put it in there and set the intention, walk away, and see if it helps people, which I believe it does. So, and this thing helps with just source energy and balancing the body. I could keep going, but
Yeah,
there's
oh
so
yeah,
many. Yeah.
definitely. Definitely at the conference next time. I'm gonna have to pay you a visit after one of the days of the conference because
Well,
I have
you
the
did.
issue with the feet myself. Yeah.
Well, you did do one session, Chris. Do you remember how it affected you?
Oh yeah, I do believe I did. Yeah, I did felt like it was being pulled through my feet. Yeah. I do remember that. It was
Yeah.
brief. Yeah. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember.
well, you used the P90. I wasn't doing ionic detox then,
Yeah.
but you have to start out low. A lot of people are like, okay, I sell packages, right? And I had one client, and it's only one because anybody that's ever tried it always gets a package because they love the way they feel. I mean, very seldom does somebody say, no, I don't want to continue this. Usually, when they end up in my seat, they're ready, right? Like they've tried all the medical, whatever, or other. I've had people come to me, and it's nothing is there's other PMF technologies out there, but I will tell you, people are paying $5,000 for a mat. I'm not going to name the name. It's a common one, and I had a young lady that bought one and became a distributor, came to me, did a session, and told me that this machine blows away her. And part of the reason that is because it has terahertz as well, so it's not just PMF. So the PMF will ground you and help you, ground into the body and like release any energies that feel stuck. It will literally, like within 10 minutes, you feel like you're expanding. Where the terahertz sends frequencies to charge the cells and create new cells. So it's a fantastic technology, and I just feel like so many of us don't walk barefooted enough. We're not on the ground enough. And then most of the places, like where I live at, where they're spraying, pesticides and everything else, I have to go, 5 miles away in the middle of the desert. I'm being facetious, but whatever. Or I'll go to the beach and walk on the beach. That's super helpful, which the ionic detoxes replicate the ions that you would get. It's like walking on the beach 1,000 times over. So these are great tools that, and the PMF replicates the earth energies. Great tools for, most people, if you're one person working in the house, most people have, two people to be able to, pay the bills and do what they need to do, whatever. So we're living busy lives, right? And if we don't stop and take the time, I tell people your health is your wealth, invest in yourself. You are the best investment you can ever make, right?
Hmm.
Over any financial anything. And when we do things that are loving and kind for ourselves, well, um, it expresses itself when we engage with other people. Because when we're being kind and loving to ourselves, we're then kind and loving to other people, or at the very least, cordial and respectful. We don't have to be best friends with everybody, but we can honor people just where they're at. And all you could do is just be a walking example. And I hold myself to that. Like things that I recommend to other people, I make sure that I'm walking the talk myself, right? Make sure that I'm doing it as well. Therefore, I can share my experiences and excite other people to consider what I'm offering.
Yeah, exactly. That's it was good what you've actually started because yeah, well, like I said, we've noticed this in frequency form for a long period of time. Now those energies seem to have coalesced to a certain extent to where these devices are now made available. It's even though some of it could have even come from some of the projects. I have no doubt that's actually true. I even was witness to a flashlight type of technology where it was like they called it like forced light technology and infrared healing and all this other stuff. This actually came out of the projects from the 1970s and 80s and was made available, now available on Amazon 30, 40, 50 years later. So in this instance, I feel this is also a healing technology that's actually manifesting because the energies are pushing towards that kind of push. It's manifesting in that form, where no matter what the origin point of the tech is from, it's actually turning it into a healing modality. So that's kind of what my feeling is on this, and also shungite can be integrated into this because I'm even stepping on a rubber pad at the moment that the shungite is actually starting to reground and do things like that as well. I always recommend people go outside. You can't do this barefooted right now because it's cold where we are, but you
Cold
can
here
walk on the
too.
ground and completely reground. Like at the beach, once it's warm again, I'll go and do that. Like when we were at the conference this year. It's almost last year, but this year
Yeah,
in July, when we went there, when I was outside snorkeling and swimming around out there, I completely detoxified from that.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. The ocean will do it. That's for sure.
mhm,
Yeah.
difference, yeah, it's a frequency, and the fact that you now have a way of putting it in a practical form for pretty much anybody that can't actually reach those places, that works incredibly well.
I
Mm.
have a lot of elderly people that come to me with neuropathy, all different types of health issues. And these people are, I mean, their lives are being turned around. I could name different clients. I won't do that just for their privacy, but
Mhm. Same here.
uh, yeah, that are like, coming into me with their legs swollen and red, um, that are now. So typically what I do is have people, they'll come in. Now, some people don't want their own machine. They like coming into me because I also do CBD massage at the end. So it's about an hour and a half visit, hour and 15 minutes to hour and a half, depending, because we get to talking, or we'll go over like, whatever's going on with them that they may need me to focus on, for instance. And but they're coming in with their legs, like one of my clients recently came in. She bought a machine. So usually they'll do a couple rounds of packages, or sometimes just one, depending. And then they realize how good the machine, what it's doing for them. Because this is meant to be done every day, in the morning and at night. I do it. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I get on my machine, I do my thing, I set my intention for the day, and then I just open up to whatever's going to show up, and that I make the highest and best choice for myself, right?
Mm.
So I also do, stretching and breathing and deep breathing, 6 seconds in or 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. balance the left and right hemisphere. If you do that 3 minutes a day, preferably longer, but if you just do the basic 3 minutes a day, it really will balance you. And anyways, her leg was swollen, like huge and red, and now it's almost all gone just by her using it morning and night for the past week. It's
Hmm.
mind blowing. It's just, and she was like, Ida, look, and it's amazing. I have other clients that have what's it called? Uh what is it when you get bit by a tick? Lyme's
Lyme
disease.
disease, yes.
Lyme's disease, using the technology, feeling better, doing better, everything. People say that they start dreaming again, they're sleeping deeper, they feel rested when they wake up. Um, and it's meant to start on low. Oh, that's what I was telling you. Sorry. I know I jump around a little bit. I'm getting better with it though, Chris.
I do the same thing, so yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
You were talking about the machine, how you start on low first.
Mhm.
yeah, you start on low. So I had a client that came in that was still going to the medical, all this pain center relief, whatever, on medications, plus was like jumping around to different holistic practitioners trying to get relief. And I had explained to her, now you guys know me probably better than anybody better than anybody in this community of disclosure. And you know that I'm a very direct, straightforward person, and I will speak what I need to speak, right? Well, she was adamant to go on a level 5, when she just first started. And mind you, she's like in her 70s, maybe early 80s, but a little firecracker. She was something. And was adamant that because she bought a $500 package for me, that I was to put it on the level she wants, and not what I'm telling her as the certified practitioner, which I have a certification in. And I said, okay. I knew it wouldn't hurt her, but I knew she was going to feel like crap. So I sat there with her the whole time, and we're talking. She's telling me she's not feeling anything. I'm not feeling anything. Now, most people either feel, if they have an injury in the body, like I've had people that say, oh, I hurt my knee at 6 years old, and I can feel where I injured myself there, that I feel frequencies there, right?
Mhm.
So everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. But so I was like, okay. And I think she was just being, I don't know, I don't know what she was. But I'll tell you this, she got up off my chair and had to sit in the lobby in the office for about 20, 30 minutes before she could drive, because it was too much energy too quick.
Yeah.
You can't start high. You have to start out low. And I'm just at a 5. I've done a 10 on for 10 minutes. My point in telling you this is, say 1 through 4 is more of a grounding, charging the terahertz. The higher up it goes, the more terahertz are being, because it's a higher a higher setting. So more is being emitted, which in the morning, going on a higher setting, getting your body, it's like sticking your phone in to charge it, you're charging your body up. If we understand that we're electric and magnetic, we have cells, uh, and our lymphatic system and our neurological system, all these things are being affected. And you find that you have so much energy, you don't need coffee anymore. Like, I drink a half a cup of coffee in the morning. I used to drink 2 or 3 cups a day. I don't drink it like that. And now I think it's just the habit of having something warm in the morning, which I
Mhm.
probably could be switching to tea instead of coffee. But yeah, she wasn't feeling so good. The next morning she called me and said, I feel really achy. I don't think this is a good idea. And I said, okay, no problem. And I offered her to come in, and I fully refunded her. I'm not the practitioner for you. It's okay. I wish you well, and I hope that you find what you're looking for. Because, if you're not willing to let go, or at least get yourself, it's like people that tell me about having drug and alcohol addiction. And I'm not saying that everybody's, should be, do it like I did it. But I'll tell you, I laid in the bed for 3 days and fully detoxed myself off of, and I'm talking about hard street drugs and pharmaceutical pain, Oxycontin, because I injured my back, like all this stuff. And I just said, okay, I broke programming. I realized what was going on, and just said, no more. I'm not giving my power over to this anymore, nor do I want to. I prefer to deal with the things that need to be dealt with, so that I can move past it and it not be a thing in my life anymore. And I'm so thankful for that. You know, a lot of people don't know my real history, and I'll just give you a brief. I start shooting cocaine at 12 years old, Chris, smoking PCP, doing quaaludes, doing acid every day, going to concerts, like heavy stuff. And I have my brain, you know, I'm not burned out, I'm healthy. And I just think back to that girl. Like, who was that? Now
Mm.
we know about the projects and programs and how that can be, you know, a thing.
You
But my
escape the
point
mind
is,
control is what you did. Now you don't recognize the controlled version of you because the frequency is so vastly different. So it's like it was a totally different variation of yourself that you left behind, or your frequency changed. You skipped timelines, and now you're on a completely
I'm
different.
so very thankful. I'll tell you, when I think and I see people, and I have a great deal of compassion, no judgment to people that are struggling with drugs and alcohol. It's such a huge thing on this planet. And people just, so many, I get it. I mean, I went through rehab 10 times. Like, couldn't understand, why do I keep going back? I know I don't want this for myself. Why do I keep doing it? Breaking the program, realizing that this was, you know, part of my the trauma-based mind control and so forth. I was able to break it. And you know, it's been many years, and I'm so thankful for that.
Mhm.
So my aspiration or my desire is to truly speak publicly about that, about what, you know, what causes addiction, how we can move ourselves and remove ourselves and take full responsibility of it, and to heal so that we can empower and help others also. If, you know,
Yeah, it takes two to tango in that instance. Somebody else initiated the addiction, but it's then our responsibility to not allow it at that point. So,
well, that's right. Well, isn't that a conundrum? And that's interesting that you say that, because I was thinking about that last night, right? Because or night before, I was talking to somebody on the phone about, you know, how, and, and Joanna has mentioned this to me. I don't know if she remembers, but about taking responsibility and the things that we chose to experience in order for our own soul growth, right? So I don't know that she said it exactly like that, but that's the gist of what I got from her, Joanna. And it's a conundrum to think, you know, why would anybody ever choose to smoke pot at 6 years old? Or like I did, my brother gave me pot at 6 years old and watched me run around the room high, laughing at me. Um, or being exposed to these hard drugs and alcohol as a young girl and so forth and so on, but or the sexual abuse or any of the other traumas, the satanic, all the stuff. Why would one choose that? Why would one agree to that? Do I believe that I agreed to everything that I experienced? I don't know about that. What I do know is that ultimately it's up to me on how I react to the situation and how I deal with the things, emotionally mature, in order for me to move through it and know how to protect myself and have healthy boundaries for myself and other people. Right. And it's taken me a long time, guys, to get really where I'm at now. And I'm not, you know, I don't think we ever arrive, but we can surely get into a place where we're, you know, much more happier and content within our own field of creation, right? And so yeah. So anyway, so there's so many people that are in need of help, especially in the, you know, I think about, so Joanna mentioned the conference, and I'll give a shout out to Brian Singh. Brian Singh is the executive producer of the Full Disclosure Now conference. I am the co-producer. I started out as uh, the vendors coordinator, and at the conference he promoted me to to the co-producer, which was, I didn't expect that at all, but I said, okay, I'll take that, whatever that means. I still do what I do, and we work really well together. And thank you guys for showing up. And we're excited to have you next year. We're going to have you back. We're excited for that. Brian and I have talked a few times, and Brian has a great deal of respect for both of you and really likes you guys. So I'm glad, because I feel like the people I pull in, like, I'm not, you know, we now have James Bartley. Are you guys familiar with James Bartley?
No, no, not at all.
James Bartley's in Australia, and but he grew up here. I mean, he's been. I mean, I could send you some pretty fascinating if you want to. It's up to you. But he started out many years ago doing lectures at universities and different. He was in the military, and he'd have reptilians jumping out from, his closet and all kinds of stuff. And works closely with Edie Lorgan, the Love Bite Scenario. She wrote the book, The Love Bite Scenario.
I've heard of that, yes.
Anyways, James did a lecture many years ago when I first woke up, and it was probably a few years old when I came across it, about the Dracos in the military, and how trauma-based mind control was being used, and the abductions, and what all that pretty deep, like it's not for children by no means, or anybody that's not prepared to have a listen to some things that are can be difficult. But he's coming from Australia. We're excited about that. So yeah, you'll get to meet him, and yeah, he's worth knowing. He's a good guy.
So it's interesting because people may not see some of the things that, like, for example, my perspective on how all of this is related. When you talk about, we like to talk a lot about, again, galactic history, because we're trying to bring down a bigger story of this overarching, how do you control, a civilization? How do you control the humans who are on their own individual journeys of growing and expanding to be able to see more, perceive more, do things? And how are you able to tampen them down? And this has been done since the creation of this. This has been part of what's going on. So the concept of having people get involved with addictions and different things like that is a part of that. Not to say that, everyone is victimless to things, and that's a huge part, but that concept of the exposure of things that could become addictive in your life is a part of a bigger agenda, because it throws you aside circling a toilet instead of expansion. And so it's really important. I am a big fan, as you know, of healing in general, so that you may restart your journey of expansion of what it is, and understanding some of these concepts and their relationship is a disclosure. So, disclosing a bigger picture of something. So that's partly why, Chris and I, are more very interested in these conversations, very interested in disclosure, because we come at it from a different angle, a bigger perspective, to see how this affects you in your every single day life. And then how do you move past it without shame, blame, and guilt, which is another tactic of holding you back? And how do you move forward from things like that? And then again, allowing yourself to have had those experiences, to now allow yourself to have the exploration of the different things that are available and being brought up, to be able to not only heal yourself, but to show that healing is possible, and then a greater expansion can happen. And so I think, again, there is pushback, of course, towards anything that is going to help people heal, to expand in their consciousness, and for them to bring more of themselves into this picture. And again, most people's desire is to create a more unified, we're not talking cookie cutter, but a genuine unity within people, not the fighting, not the warring, but the genuine unity and understanding that will prepare us better for a bigger community that exists out there, that we have to kind of work on some of these problems here. So everything you've spoken about today is related to a bigger picture concept that we try to bring out to people's understanding, because however and it's not just, those addictions. It could be food addiction. It could be TV addictions. It could be
Absolutely.
all of these other things as well that are having you. It could be, I mean, my God, the dopamine that people want by that instant drama of TV shows and whatever to keep them in that dopamine filled, that's an addiction. And so to people to understand the process of how these things work and how it may be interfering with what you really want to. But right now, part of it is the exploration, because now, as Chris is saying, and you're also saying that certain technologies have now come to the surface that really can promote more genuine healing, more genuine. And so there's a lot of souls. You say, why would they come in and do it? Well, it's not like you haven't been here before and haven't been in the world of addiction and problems and drama and whatever to keep that's been there forever. The goal is now is how do I walk the talk? How do I actually, do an exploration in this? But then how do I, if I say I'm big into healing, how do I do that process, and then how do I share it with people? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you may not have signed up because, again, you may have signed up. I always joke about, you signed up to hit a few potholes, not a head-on collision. You may have had a head-on collision instead of just the potholes.
Yeah.
But you also knew as a soul, and most souls know, that they can overcome that as well. They have faith, in the process of overcoming all of it. So it is important in the entirety of the conversation, including disclosure and, what it is we're trying to disclose. And in our humble opinion, I think I can speak for both of us here, that there's a bigger picture that needs to come out that affects everybody on a day-to-day basis. It's not just about the one pie, and there's nothing wrong with being in the one pie of the secret space program. There's nothing wrong with wanting to champion that pie of the disclosure. There's no problems with want to channel the one pie of there are other races out there. But there's nothing wrong with any of that. But we're into a bigger even picture of it all and our history and how these things have occurred to over time. And then what are individuals trying to do now to discover, to share with everybody in humanity, how can you now come out of this? And so, why we wanted to have this conversation with you is because you are on a specific journey and you are trying to deal with these issues and are trying to find not just a coding, but what are some things, and you may not understand exactly all of the ramifications of what your project's doing to the body yet, the physics of it all, but there's a result there that seems to be more healing and permanent than some of these surface Band-Aid things that are done. And that's an important discussion and an important conversation to bring up. So, that's why, again, we've always, cheered you on. We've always, quite proud of all of the things that, you're exploring and doing. Love the fact of wanting to share with people and seeing people, give their testimonies and different things of what's going on. And I think it's an important point in our humanity. So that's kind of why it would be interesting to also have a galactic contribution to this from their perspective and bringing in these other types of healings, their perspective of it. And, maybe this is a good time to do that.
Sure. I'm totally open. Yes. I love to listen to Chris and whoever comes through, whoever he allows to come through.
Okay.
But yes, I've enjoyed this conversation with you guys, and I still didn't get into some of the deeper, but maybe that we'll do that do a second show or something. I'd love
There's
to do
always
that.
more.
There's always more.
Yeah. We don't have to do it all in one sitting. Yep. Okay.
Let's see here. Let's see who's talking. Let's see. For once, Isaac's actually bowing out of this one. Okay, let's see. For whatever reason. All right. What? Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be Elena or Vessa today. Let me see here. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, and the V2K was quite loud this morning, so I have to put this on. Penny Bradley talks about a lot of these type of hats. This is a website she suggested, so it was lessemf.com is where I get these from. So EMF hats with the in with
I
the
need to get one.
yeah.
Maybe you'll send the link to me, please.
Yep, and I'll put it on
Messenger.
the descriptions too. Any pertinent websites and information will be in the description. So,
Fantastic.
and at the end, I'll show your YouTube channel. I can do the screenshot and everything of the share screen.
That would be lovely. And just very quickly, if anybody is interested in any of the technology that I've shared with you today, you can go on my website. Also, I have two websites, one for local, which is Soulful Synergy Detox and Wellness. That's where people buy packages. But there is a link on the website where people can actually order their own machines. And then I have one just for the machines because now I'm actually going to be doing my first vending at Spirit Fest here in Florida. And I don't know if you guys know Cheryl from, I'll give her a shout out, that has the Tesla bed. She was at the conference. Do y'all remember her?
I
She was
think
in
I
the
do, and also we're going to be at a Spirit Fest too here in Virginia Beach in March. So yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Okay. So
So
yeah, but there was a reason I was saying that. Now I forgot. It's okay. Anyways, yeah, you can go on my website, check out the technologies. You could start your own business. You could, I mean, you could become a distributor yourselves if people wanted to. I mean, I'm making it my business, but some people just do it on the side and make whatever you make. But my goal is to get one of these in every household across the planet if I can. I mean, I know that's a big, but that's really because I feel like it's so powerful and truly making change for, creating change for people. It's worth it. And yeah, I could keep going on. Yes, I love the machine. Is it my only thing? No, I do other things behind the scenes that I don't talk about. Where ancient wisdom comes in, I do, different modalities that I think are helpful for myself, and I've used them on some of my clients, and they enjoy it. So, anyways, go ahead. I'd love to hear what you have to say, Chris. Thank you.
okay, let's see here. Yeah, the V2K is a little loud, but let me see here. Some days are different than others with that. I did notice where you stumbled a little bit. There was V2K screwing around too, so that's what was causing some of this. When we get disrupted, like we'll tag team it. Like at the conference, I started to go a little bit in during the lecture, and she stepped in. Joanna stepped in as that was happening, so we kind of rotate around, and I tried to displace that disruption away from myself so I can continue to talk. So I displace it into like a hypothetical to where it's attacking the hypothetical and not me. So or it's limited, but I can do that. So Elena, was that you that you wanted to talk to? Okay, let me see. Yeah, if I shut up, yes, I know. All right. One must shut up first. Yes. Okay. All right. Opening the circle of true benevolence and no conflicting agendas is of this one time manifest now. Appropriate is not small hormones sections. All right. Yes, this is Elena, and I am coming in to talk about this particular subject, this like ionic detoxes. Any of these particular modalities are quite important right now because the frequency of the toxin versus the frequency of the person are very vastly different things. And they can actually cause what you have nicknamed here a Jekyll and Hyde effect, whereas it can literally create a bipolar situation by which it causes even further instability because once you get into that pendulum swing, you are then hitting these fringe frequencies by which then cause even more pandemonium within your body, your health, mind, heart, soul, all of it. So, and connection to spirit. It is actually dimming your connection to your oversoul and to overall spirit and benevolent source creator. So With that said, this is exactly what they want. They figure if they build up the addictions, they build up the toxins, that people will get so far down the pole, let's just say, that uh, they will not want to detoxify. Doing this is crucial, extremely crucial right now. He himself has felt this even recently, thinking that it is every single food doing it to him. But at the same time, it is a toxin buildup not only from external sources, but internal frequencies, pendulum swinging because of the, how can I put this in English? It's a pendulum swing and cascade effect or domino effect, by which then those dominoes have to be reset back up in place from the original pattern by which they existed. Very much like frequencies can alter sand or water to make different patterns. This is that by which an external force started a cascade effect by which then must be detoxed. You see your chemtrail, you see your toxic food, you see the waves coming through TV, you see your V2K. Now, once you stop that pendulum swinging, once you stop that cascade effect, or rewind the hands of time in this particular instance, when you do this, you will begin to see an effect of resetting you back to the point of origin, essentially. And not necessarily, that frequency doesn't necessarily have to match how you were in your distant past. No, 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 no. That's a separation of densities with your former self. That is different. Returning to origin was actually what you did by getting rid of that former self. I'm speaking to you currently. This is exactly what everybody is doing with the detoxing. They are writing that sometimes you have to remove some of the toxins like they do with their devices and orgone pieces, and also with the energy clearings, is they're getting somebody back to a stable point by which then they can carry it the rest of the way. If you could do it completely for somebody, that would defeat the purpose. But you are putting them on a starting position by which then they can take it the rest of the way. Now, regrounding is actually crucial right now as well. Is incredibly crucial. That is also what your devices are doing. They are bringing a grounding in place as well, on top of removing the toxins. The toxins are degrounding people. Of course, you have AI frequencies doing the same. You have magical and psionic frequencies doing the same. And you have psionic dampening in place. Now, you get past all of that junk. Some people call that the junk layer. You hear, like if you're in a meditative state, you hear commercials in your head. That's V2K garbage. With this, once you get past all of that and the pendulum swing this ceases, or the forest people were talking about this yesterday as well on a program, the Analam or the calm state. Doesn't mean you don't experience the full spectrum of emotions. You're back to center. This is crucial right now. This is why, as he said, the energy coalesced these devices in the hands of people that could properly distribute them. You then, Aida, became one of these people because it matched the energy frequency by which you became, if this makes sense. The timeline exists by which it follows a frequency by which you become. So with that, if you have a toxin that is causing a lot of havoc, it then makes it so that your state is in a weird flux and not grounded. In this, you can exist more in your I am presence if you're declaring the state you're in. I am this, I am that. You see what I'm saying? This is what they're trying to disrupt in all other fashions or forms. So I can shut up now and go into questions.
Do you have think of anything yet? I'll give you a second.
Well, I did want to ask Elaine, if you don't mind, if you have any information that you want to share with me, if you're able to tap into my energy and let me know if I'm, if there's something else maybe I could add, or if there's a focus that maybe I need to something that maybe I need to focus on. I mean, or do you think I'm on the right track in what I'm doing? Yeah, just any feedback I'm open to. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, you are on the right track. As you were saying with your devices, with the lady you were referring to, when you turned the device volume all the way up and she felt horrible. You see, this goes with also entering your own evolutionary state. I know that sounds cliche, but this is what's going on currently. You are expanding your process. You're expanding who you are into, how can I put this? You are bringing in more of your oversoul's information. If you did this too quickly, you would almost blow a circuit, so to speak. It's just like he likes to explain, the oversoul has to dial it down. You have sometimes 3 components, sometimes 2, whereas you have like a comparison to like an electrical plant to a substation to a house. The house being yourself here on Midgard or Earth. Then you have maybe another avatar that's in between, and then you have the oversoul. There has to be not a dumbing down effect, that's not the right term, a dialing down effect. This goes the other direction as well. Whereas you live in a physics environment that only allows a particular progression, if this makes sense. This isn't like a rags to riches type of thing. This is more of an energetic progression that allows for the abundance to be intaken as that frequency changes and as that timeline shifts. So therefore, as you are doing even the detoxes on yourself, you're opening that door more and more. Hence, you got the promotions, you got the recognition, and you're going to see that further along. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't other forces out there wanting to put you under boot, just like you two well know. This does not mean that. This just means that you can handle these things better. It doesn't mean that you don't have, how can I put it, bipolar moments or unbalanced moments when you have feelings hurt or etc., etc. It doesn't mean this. You're experiencing the full range of emotions. You could be the biggest, balanced person ever. You would still be insulted by what you're insulted by. You would still be happy by what you're happy by. This does not change this. This just makes it more calm, centered, and that you aren't going shoo, shoo, shoo. That said, as you're going along, this begins to open more and more and more. You are actually on the right path. The only suggestion is that sometimes your doubting this begins to encumber this. And I'm not going to go all new agey. I am just saying that the way you are existing in that progression, sometimes you don't realize you are existing in that progression, therefore you inhibit the progression. You have to walk the path as if it's already completed, or as you've said, go to the end and bring it here. It's the same premise. You are bringing that frequency here, therefore you're walking it, you're becoming it. This is the only suggestion that I currently have.
It is an interesting, if we just expand one thing that was said to apply more to all people.
Mm-hmm.
And it really had to do with what I liked it, what was coming up. When we talk about people and their emotions, and we talk about the reality that we will have full range of emotions. Those that try to take half of it away, they're unbalanced. We are meant to. What I find interesting about that, because we do talk about that other side, darkness side, whatever you want to call it, what they oftentimes can do is when you're having a swing of emotions, again, that it is going to happen, is appropriate, all of these things do. What they can do is they can keep you in that other side that starts to spin in your mind a little bit too much. So the goal with some of this is, again, people really need to hear that. You're nothing wrong with having the full range of emotions. The question is, how quickly can you move through them and bring yourself back to who you say you are, to be who you say you are, instead of being caught up in a turnstile now that something else has taken advantage of to get you to rethink it, re-be there, and hang you out. I always say circling the toilet with that thought. Not that you shouldn't have had a thought, but that you shouldn't have gotten stuck there.
Yes, and people get stuck in narratives and those types of repetitious thoughts. And yes, some practitioners work on those type of repetitious thoughts, thought traps, things of that nature. And narratives, all about that part. Whereas if you feel you've been in a thought trap you have to actually he says put a brick on it or change the ending and put your name as executive producer director on the end like a film and then fade it to black, things of that nature. These are big right now, unfortunately. Not trying to co-create in that respect. I'm just saying what is being experienced by the masses currently, and then also even more so by those that are entering the a greater, you would say, activation period, you would call it. You are actually going further and further as you change your perspectives and perceptions, and other people are as well. And they are experiencing this more and more. It appears to be louder, like he said, the V2K, because there are these tripwires around that you hit. They're like spider webs, he calls it. There's really no way to detect them. It is, but you can burn them out through certain frequency changes. It's essentially like setting fire to a spider web. You can actually do this to where then it won't be a thing, or you are passing into an energy, whereas, yeah, it's a thing, but you're not really kowtowing to it, or you're not really listening, you see. So there is a way past this. You are on your way, and others are on their way as well. I know the focus of the show is on your pursuits, Ida, but I'm just saying this I hope answers what you asked, though.
I appreciate it. Yes. And thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, Elaine.
Yes. Are there further questions?
Do you have any other questions or?
I don't. I think no. I think I enjoyed listening, and I think that was sufficient to give me clarity and understanding that I'm definitely on the right path. And I appreciate what you said about the the balancing and having the full range of emotions. And I was thinking to myself, I don't get stuck in things as long as I used to. Like I'm able to move through them, recognize them, and you know, uh come to terms with whatever the lesson is or what it is I'm meant to learn, and take it and apply it and move forward. And if it's something that I can't figure out, I don't need to get stuck there, that it will show up again. And then I'll get another little piece of whatever it is. And eventually I'm going to learn what it is I need to learn and move through it. But they happen much quicker now for me. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
I mean, it's through sitting still, doing a lot of shadow work, like, and always introspection. It's necessary. At the end of the day, I think about my day. Like when I lay down, especially if there was anything, challenging that came up, I have to have a look and see, you know, how could I have either done things differently, or give myself a pat on the back and say you handled it well. Whatever it is, we have to do the introspection, and we have to realize when there are subconscious thoughts and programming and trauma that tries to continue to, the blame, shame, and guilt coming through, where we can recognize it and say that's we don't give our power to it any longer. And
yes.
we see it. I see you. Thank you. Thank you for showing me. Is there something else available? I always say that. Is there something else available? I don't consent to those thoughts. Is there something else available that's more pleasing to my soul? Something that is more rewarding for my spiritual development and growth? Whatever it is in the moment. But I do it. And I get really, sometimes I go for days. I don't have any real, intrusive thoughts. And then sometimes I get intrusive thoughts. And I say,
And I think
Yes.
one of the areas, again, even with people that are expanding, that they sometimes think, I'm having that intrusive thought, I'm backtracking. But you're not backtracking. One of the things that we say is it's not that it goes away. It's just you become this such strong icebreaker, from being a little sail ship to now this huge icebreaker. And again, people have passed a point to say, what becomes important really is what I give my energies to. And this sidestepping drama, this whatever, I'm glancing at it, but I don't really need to give any energies to it. I need to, move on with, again, who I am, what my intentions are, and things like that, because will constantly have things coming at you to want to divert you and divert your attentions and divert things. And again, has nothing to do, I say things like that and people think, well, you're talking about being cold. And I'm like, it's actually the opposite of being cold. It's about acknowledging all of it, but understand who am I and what is my contribution within it. And let me give my energies to focus on that, because I know what my intentions are. My intentions are I actually love people. I actually respect them. I actually respect their journeys. I cannot wear their knapsack. They must explore and do things on their own. But I can look at you and say, just like with that older woman, you showed immense respect. You didn't try to tell her she was wrong. You didn't try. You let her have her exploration. And then she pulled back saying, well, I'm really probably not ready for that. Showed immense respect for it. Didn't need no shame, blame, or guilt, no judgment. And again, and go in peace. And that's really, again, how we respect, and actually, believe it or not, that was showing more of a unity than her wanting to stay with you and do it. That showed more and more respect in the journey. So I think people get these things confused at times, I think, and they think they're backtracking when they're not.
Yes, exactly. You think you're going backwards when you're going forwards, just like you would say, like if something seems like it's ahead of you, but it's actually in your past, it's something that's undealt with. That's even more true now. So there could even be dreams you've had where there could be elements of the past, elements of other timelines that don't apply, but also harassment, as you know, dreamtime invasion, and also what the oversoul is trying to get you to deal with from other lifetimes or from the current immediate moment. So even though everything is in the moment, you know what I'm saying. So if there are no further questions, I can send off then.
Yeah, I really appreciate you joining us, and I hope everyone got really something from this.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ida, and thank you, everybody listening. So bye-bye now. All
Good
right.
job, Christopher. Thank you.
Yeah, that and channelings are easier with no toxins as well. Like when we were at the Serata, it was easier. When we were in the woods channeling forest people, much easier. So
Sure, I would imagine so.
much easier.
Yes.
Oh, and
Yeah.
also when we were at Spirit Lake channeling forest people, much easier. There was no tech around, so it was much except
Well,
for so.
we know that that's a fact. I mean, I read something about, when you go out into the forest, I think after 72 hours, if you have no technology and anything around you, no phone, nothing, you will automatically start connecting back with
Yep.
your making your connections, your natural.
Yeah, that's an automatic
Yes,
in
we
nature
all
after
have.
some time has
Yes.
passed. Yes.
And I feel it just going to the dog park. Like just going to I'm still surrounded by stuff, but just being around in the trees for whatever reason is super grounding for me. And I love taking pictures of the sun through the trees. Like
Right. I enjoy seeing those.
Yes,
Mhm.
I love it. I just
Mhm.
even the littlest, just it reminds me of, while we may have all these things that are around us that are that light, which we all are, is still piercing through, still connecting with us. We're still able to reach it, so to speak, and experience the our true divine essence of our divinity. I'm not a love and lighter. You both know that. I do believe in our Christ conscious self. I think we all are that. I don't think there was one man that could claim that. I think that's for all of humanity. But it's a decision we have to make. It does come with responsibility that if, we're going to, what's the word I want to use? We're going to, you know, I guess preach isn't the word. If we're going to, um, claim a thing, that we need to embody it and
Yeah.
truly be it.
Right. And this is the time to heal and to mentor as you're saying, walk the talk, show
Yes.
the frequencies in action, things like that. And you actually brought up a really great point, that I just want to add to, because we've said this before. People are like, how do I begin? I mean, believe it or not, it's not, you start by the simple things. Being able to go to a dog park, to be able to sit there and find and tune into the frequency of what that sunlight and what that frequency feels toward you and how nurturing you feel it is towards you. That's a skill. So again,
Yes.
what simply I've said, you know what I mean, is people look at all the weeds in their yard. And I said, well, if you look at some of them really close, they look like little purple and pink orchids. Or you're driving down the street, and I would do this all the time. I would talk to the trees on either side because I'm in a state that is usually the interstates are treed. And, sometimes I'd be like high fiving them in my mind. And then
I
I'm like,
love it.
are they waving back at me? Is there really a wind?
Mhm.
That imagination, again, that ignites those frequencies in us to bring us to those places, just like what you're saying. That's why I enjoy seeing the pictures you send because I can feel your joy in it. Does that make
Oh, thank
sense?
you, Joanne.
Right?
Yes, it's
And
so
so
true.
I
Yeah.
can, you can feel again, and that's the good thing I think of like Facebook and Messenger or whatever. People, again, they've gotten off onto these tangents, but the loving energies that can come through in the simplest of things, like I always said, if you don't know what it's like to laugh or feel joy anymore, you need to go get a yellow stone and meditate with a yellow stone that will that frequency, so you can remember and get those thoughts back into your head of what it's like to be in joy. This is what you're doing. You're tuning in. It's like a meditation almost. You're tuning into these certain frequencies that are fulfilling and healthy for you. It didn't take much. It took you going to a dog park and quieting your mind a little bit. Not that your mind was empty, but just quieting. So people can, in very short periods of time, begin this growth. But part of it is about bringing back some of these frequencies. Laughter is a great healing frequency and different things, bringing these things back in, that have been absent. And so that's what you're doing. You're really tuning in, and at every moment you can, you're trying to provide that vitalization energy, that healing energy. And it's really important, but it's not as hard to do as people think it is. They have to just start.
Somebody's
That's
using
right.
Somebody's using the movie example of, where Indiana Jones swaps out that statue kind of thing, where you're kind of switching
I
the
do remember
stone,
that.
and
Yes.
and then the rock falls. That's basically the whole thing. What they're trying to say is that's actually doing the ball rolling is what they're trying to say. But then there's also the other process. There was somebody we knew once that said that at one point she had an allergy to cats, and her kids brought home kittens one time. So she looked into the frequencies and energetics to see if something was causing that. Yes, there was, and the cord was cut, and that stopped. Sometimes it's that simple, sometimes it isn't. It's usually a more lengthy process. But I was just told, Elena and Vessa just basically said, sometimes you have the chemicals you have in you are the entanglement. It's not always just an external something you've consumed,
Right.
and therefore
Right.
Sure.
cutting the cord there too.
That's very important to say. That's right,
Right.
Chris. I quit smoking cigarettes for a year and a half and I'm still smoking. And then my friend said, "Well, why don't you just make peace with the tobacco spirit and just be in full acceptance of it? And when you're ready, you'll stop again." And I agree with that, right? Because I quit for a year and a half, and then, and like what Joanna was talking about, other addictions, food became my reward. I gave up cigarettes. Now I get to eat whatever I want, and then I kind of got off my path, and now I'm like, as far as what I'm consuming, because I used to be really strict. It's like my thing was super strict or nothing at all.
And yet,
Now I'm kind of finding a middle ground and being able to balance that. I'll tell you another thing that helps me. First off, just sitting still and just putting your hand. I imagine a white pole coming through my top of my crown chakra into to my heart, and I imagine my heart is a landscape with just wind and blowing leaves and just You could imagine a feather just blowing around and just in this, safe place and a warm grounding, and just hold yourself there and know, right? Just know that you're safe no matter what happens, you're safe. And we know that death doesn't really exist, right? We can't die if we want to. The body may leave, but I know for sure from my own experience of crossing over and having a near death experience that we continue, or we're still conscious. You're still thinking and all that. Anyways, or I put lots of plants. I buy myself flowers. I go to Trader Joe's or Walmart, wherever it is I'm shopping, and I find a bundle of flowers for less than $10, sometimes $5. Something that I think has pretty colors or whatever it is that I will enjoy, and I wake up to that in the morning. I light a white candle. These are simple things we can do. Light a white. I did it this morning. I'm lighting a white candle. I set the intention to have a fantastic podcast, that everything that is going to bring value to the audience, that I can share that, guide me, show me, and help me to make real connection. And I just light the candle, and I off to the day, and I'm doing my thing. And we don't, and another thing I just want to speak to, and then I will have to get off soon, guys, because I do have a lunch date, and I'm not rushing it. I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
Joanna mentioned about the addiction to drama and chaos, right? And the minute that we're sitting still and things are peaceful, especially if you're somebody that is really addicted to drama and chaos, you will look for things that are irritating to you, or the littlest thing. Somebody might have said something that normally it wouldn't bother somebody else, but it becomes this exasperated big thing, because we want the energy and the drama and the chaos, so that we feel alive. Like, when things are peaceful and grounded, there's nothing really going on. There's no emotional charge. And I have found that I love being grounded and centered and peaceful, rather than having the explosive emotional charge. I still love to laugh and talk crap and jump out and scare people behind walls. And I'm a big hugger. I'm a very affectionate person, but as much as I'm a Leo, I also like my time, my quiet, just hanging out with Prince, looking at him and thinking about what goes on in his little mind in the world. And am I providing, that we agreed to be in this space together? And I believe I've had him other lifetimes. And
Mm-hmm.
what is it that we're learning from each other, and how are we? Yeah. So I think that also comes with getting older, and really taking heed of the wisdom that we've gained, right? And making different choices, and just choosing peace over all the craziness and that kind of stuff. And I just, being the youngest of 12 kids, I grew up in a craziness. And I did. And I feel, I just, I don't know, a lot's changed for me, even from the conference. Like, some things have shifted for me. And I'll never claim to be there, right? Because like I say to people all the time, we'll never arrive, but we can get to a place where our triggers are much less, and we also can get to a place where we become emotionally mature by choosing a higher road and making a different choice in a response to any given thing. So I'll end with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah, that's a
appreciate
good place
those.
to
Yeah.
leave off on. I do want to show people your YouTube here. I'll do a screen
I
share.
appreciate it. Please, guys, everybody, anybody, I mean, please do subscribe. I've been at 500 for like 2 years. I don't know, a long time. And I need to figure out how to change it from live to, because I noticed the live are not showing up on the regular feed. So people have to go to live in order to watch my more recent.
Yeah. No, this
And
is
I to have you and Joanna back on again. We did do something a few months ago, and I'd like to have you guys come back again.
Of course.
Um,
of course,
yeah.
yeah.
And, I'm not looking to, like, I just want to reach hearts and minds, and I want to bring people together. And we all
Well,
have
I
something.
agree with you because I'm kind of the same way. I want to share what we know and what we understand because I think if people can listen to it and maybe some of it rings true to them, it can be helpful in their lives. I mean, obviously, Chris gets a little bit more in depth if people come for a session, literally doing things. But the information that we share, is kind of a passion. You know what I mean? It's a passion of mine because of how much I believe if you understand some of this stuff, how you can take better control, of your life and, make the life that you want. But no, I'm right there with you, and I'm all about, as you know, anything that can be brought in that's healing based. So, like even when we do the conferences, my mind, again, I don't like to talk about things unless we can bring in a part of the discussion of healing or how to deal with it or something like that, rather than just saying it's there. And so, because that can be a bit scary to people because there are things that can be done and there are things with our personal growth that we can do. So I believe bringing in and really happy to be allowed to be at the conference because we're bringing in a bit different perspective, but we also like to really bring in how important healing and healing modalities are for people no matter what the topic is, you know what I mean? So, because people are affected by it. So I'm right there with you. And so really, it's always fun and a pleasure, you know what I mean, to sit and get the chance to talk with
I
each other
love to
now
talk to
and
you
then.
guys always, and I always learn so much from you. And and a lot of times it's after the fact, our conversations, and I'll sit with it and just think about the conversations we have, and then maybe something I didn't really fully get when you first said it, then I kind of get it, and and I take what works for me or what I feel is useful and valuable, and I just leave the rest. And
Mhm.
I hold you both in high esteem. As I've said, I love you both, and I can say that genuinely. I want nothing but the best for you, and I speak very highly of you always. I dote on Chris often. I think you guys know that, when people come to me. I mean, now I've kind of brought Dr. Amir on too, because he's pretty amazing, and then Sean Bond, but all of you guys are just amazing to me, and I've gotten so much help, and I'm just truly grateful for it. And now I'm at the point where I'm really embodying those things, the help that, the clearings and the guidance and the, wisdom shared. I've been able to hone in and figure out a way for me to use those tools to better my life and to be able to pass it on, patch the torch, right? I don't ever, I don't tell people like, don't just, I'm here to give you guidance back to yourself, for you to make decisions for yourself, for you to be empowered, for you to feel, excited for life and passionate about what you dream up and whatever. Not for me to fix anybody or do anything for anybody, but to simply, you know, be a conduit to remind you of your genius and your divinity. And so,
Yeah.
and I talk to a lot of women, and I'm very, pleased to see that whatever I'm doing is bringing some value to people. And it
That's good.
and that's the biggest thing. Working with Brian, I've said it before, Brian Singh, full disclosure now, guys, go to the full disclosure now. I didn't give you, but so Christopher Jacobs and Joanna Michaels will both be presenting. And also, I think, are you guys doing a workshop? I don't know if you are.
Yeah, Brian and
I
I
don't
are
know what
setting up
Brian.
yeah, what we're doing is we're doing our lecture like we did last time, but I agreed to actually do live channeling on site too this time.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So, because he switches things around on me sometimes, of course, I have to, we got to keep up with each other and make sure, but we will have the program set up, hopefully no later than the end of January, February, where we will have all our presenters, all the complete daily, uh, my mind's going blank. Hello. The program,
List, the program list, yeah,
what's
yeah.
it called?
The
I don't like to
agenda,
The
call
agenda.
anything. Yeah,
the conference
program. I don't
agendas.
like the program, but
Yeah.
yeah, just who's going to be speaking at what time. Our presentation calendar. I don't know, whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. We're going to have all that done and we're going to have everything in place. Things will be a little bit different because we want things to flow. You know, last year we had great feedback from so many people. If you guys are able to make it, please check out the Full Disclosure Now movement.org. Go on there. We have early bird tickets right now until the end of December. Then we're going full price. We do have amazing speakers, presenters. We're going to have workshops. We have a meal plan. You can stay at the Serata. We encourage you to do that. That way we can all come together and meet up and do, you know, social events and so forth. Those that can't or don't want to stay at the Serata, there's tons of Airbnbs, other hotels, but I am encouraging you to stay at the Serata because that's where, you know, everybody's going to be for the most part. And go to Be Well Be Well onlylifeglobal.com if you're interested in any of the technology that I've shared today. Please subscribe to my channel. I want to have people like Joanna and Michael on and other people that can share. You know, I'm really moving away from this galactic stuff. I mean, it kind of gets mixed in somewhat.
Yeah, you
But
gotta have it
really,
mixed somewhere. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but really focusing because I feel like, you know, people are thinking about having a Star Trek future, as Brian Singh likes to talk about all the time, and I'm all for it. But we got to correct what we need to here before we
Right.
even
How do you work day to day
remotely
before we get
close to
there?
having.
Yes. How do
Yeah,
you get
so
on? Yeah.
yes. So it has to start here, right where you're at.
Right.
And the littlest things we can do to help and assist. And there's so many people like Chris that can do clearings and readings for you. He's helped me from the beginning when I was going through severe targeting. He's helped me tremendously. I'm forever grateful to you for that. And yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I'm in a whole new place in my life and it feels really good.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
I'm going to
good,
good.
good.
continue. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I think this is a place where we can close the circle now, but I do also want to say I will plug another channel. By the time you all see this, there's an interview up with someone by the name of Phantom GB that is on YouTube at Phantom GB or Phantom Gigabyte. That is somebody I've known for many years, and we talked about intention and the value of magic and intention on there. So I will leave this here. So I told him I would plug his
I
stuff,
want to watch that. I want to watch it. Can you
and
send it to
told,
me so I don't send me the link?
yep, I
I
will
want to
do
watch it,
so
Chris.
when
And
it's
plus, I'll
up.
share it out. Okay. Thank you.
And so at this moment in time, I now close this circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Bye bye now.
Thank you.